Welcome back to part 2 of the Austria, Switzerland, and everywhere in between road trip. If you haven't already, please check out part 1 focused on Vienna. Also, if you're new, consider subscribing and dropping a like. We pick up part 2 shortly after leaving Vienna in our Peugeot 3008. Heading into the Wachau River Valley, the car had a nice zip to it as we were making our way to Krems. Situated along the Danube, Krems is a smaller town, home to about 24,000 people. Beautiful and charming nonetheless. For us and this video, it marked the first of 3 stops for the day. We entered through the historic Steiner Tor, a well-preserved gate dating back to the 1400s. We spent an hour or two meandering the main shopping street and enjoyed breakfast at a local bakery. The pastries were fantastic and fueled us up for the day as we continued through the Wachau Valley to Melk before arriving in our ultimate destination for the day, Linz. Admittedly, we blazed through Krems. The city is a popular stop on Danube River cruises and for day trippers from Vienna. The city has a rich wine history and there are tasting tours available. Travelers also visit the Agstein Castle and explore the old walls of the town, which surrounded the city until the late 1800s. For us, one of the most enjoyable scenes was on our way out, as we watched the Danube River roar by in an otherwise tranquil setting. It wasn't much longer before we arrived in Melk. Even smaller than Krems, home to about 6,000, Melk is on the tourist radar for one main reason. The Abbey, which dominates views of the village, is perched high above the Danube. It dates back to the 12th century, and the structure as we know it today was finished in 1736. It's notable not only for its history and beauty, but because it's been home for dozens of notable Austrian composers, musicians, and writers. The Abbey was open to tourists, which we did check out. However, in my opinion, it was better enjoyed from across the river. This was one of my favorite shots of the whole trip. Alas, we departed Melk. We turned off the meandering 2-lane, which carves through the valley, and opted for the motorway, as we headed towards Austria's 3rd largest city, Linz. Situated along the Danube, Linz was named the European Capital of Culture in 2009. We were eager to check out some of what earned the city that title. With 3D, 8K video experiences, the latest in AI, and a light-up facade, Ars Electronica Center, a museum focused on the art and technology of the future, should be on your list. Additionally, the Hohenrausch, a converted parking garage, turned into an outdoor, rooftop art experience. However, we were disappointed to find both of these experiences closed. Ars Electronica isn't open on Mondays, and the Hohenrausch had been permanently closed shortly before our arrival. We could have journeyed to the port to experience the larger-than-life graffiti art, but with our afternoon arrival, we were not ready to commit the time. So what did we do? First, we checked into our hotel, the AM Domplatz. We spent a few extra bucks for a view of the new cathedral, which was totally worth it. From there, we walked out the door and checked out our neighbor for the night. Despite the impressive footprint of the cathedral, it lacked some of the elegance St. Stephen's had in Vienna. Disappointed with Linz thus far, we arrived in the main town square, the Hauptplatz, where a bright yellow train caught our eye. With our plans already gone to crap, we climbed aboard. The ride was probably about 30 minutes and took us across the Danube, past some of the closed museums, the impressive town hall, the new cathedral, and a bakery where cake was supposedly invented, home of the Linzer torte. After all, we were tourists, and the most touristy thing we could possibly do was actually worth it for the couple euros we spent on it. Things were looking up, so we headed out of the Hotplatz on the Postlingberg Bahn, one of the steepest adhesion railways in the world. The tram connects the town square to the hilltop Postlingberg neighborhood. After a 20 or 30 minute ride, we arrived at the top where restaurants, a beer garden, and flawless views awaited. With an unsatisfying time in Linz so far, these beers with my wife and the gorgeous views were the clear highlight and something I will never forget. A few beers deep, we headed back into town and enjoyed dinner next to our hotel in the new cathedral.
You want a drink, please?
Can I just get a tap water?
Of course.
Thank you.
Ultimately, we went to bed early, eager for the day ahead. I truly believe we could have made more of our time in Linz. Emerging from the pandemic and poor timing on a Monday ultimately led to some disappointment. However, the quintessential Old Town, views from high above, and unique art experiences could easily add up to a wonderful day in this city. Krems Melk make great additions to any Linz or Vienna itinerary, as do the stops in part 3 of the Austria, Switzerland, and everywhere in between road trip. If you have not already, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and check back in 2 weeks for part 3.